Did you watch the Haney Garcia fight?
Yeah, that was the greatest. That for once it was better than MMA boxing. The greatest shit I've ever seen on TV. That was crazy. I lost money.
You bet on it?
Yeah.
I would have expected. You know what's funny? In chat, that you could agree. Haney Garcia is kind of like the boxing version of Sneako and Zherka. You got the Christian, the schizophrenic conspiracy theorist, schizo, like doing cocaine, partying all the time. That's Ryan Garcia, and then the stoic Muslim who's just praying, right? So I'm Devin Haney, and you're Garcia. I would have thought that you would have bet on your pal. He agrees with a lot of what you say, and a lot of people were
Yeah,
saying,
I would never. I've never bet on religion. I only bet on who's taking it serious. So if someone's looking very strange during a camp, like Canelo switching to a vegan diet, I'm not betting on Canelo if he's switching up the recipe. What the fuck? So yeah, but obviously, I was pumped. Like Jesus is king, but damn, did I lose? That stung bad, and it sends a crazy message to the kids. You know that message, like just fucking drink the beer, do the blow, and win the fight. It sends a horrible message.
it
It sends
does.
like the Zerka message, bro.
Wait, so are you saying I said the same thing yesterday? That sends a terrible message. I was watching that. I'm like, man, should I start drinking again? Should I do
Yeah.
coke and like party like Ryan? Is that the way to win? Because the Muslim fighters have been dominating. I was sure that he was going to win.
Yeah,
How?
it's a crazy. How do you even answer it? Like it sends a crazy message because, like, yeah, Devin took it more serious, but Ryan's been doing it all of his life too. So, they're both serious about it. Uh, but yeah, Devin
So do you
is.
think that you have a positive or negative impact on the people that watch your stuff?
Yeah, I have like results. So thousands of people bettered their lives listening to me, except one person named Fousey. He was on a car ride with Amranth, and he said, "Yeah, everyone watches Zerka." He was like at 1,000 viewers at the time. He said, "Everyone watches Zerka," and before he finished the sentence, Amranth said, "Because her and I don't really get along. We fight and stuff." She said, "Yeah, because all incels live through him, right? Like, because he's just this Chad alpha." And when she said that, I guess Fuzi had a crush on her. He froze on the clip. You can see the clip, and he starts staring out the window, and it gets very awkward. And then he said, "Yeah, everyone only watches him because he does coke." And literally
Hmm.
next week, he starts doing rails, and at 70,000 live viewers getting arrested. And so that's the first time my community said, "Look, everyone who listened to Zerka bettered their lives and went to Jesus. They didn't go to coke, but the content creator, Fuzi, 100% was inspired by that Bradley Martin podcast with Zerka because I heard behind the scenes stuff, and that's the first time I felt like, wow, I can affect an influencer. Not really the chatters know when I'm joking. That was insane. Like, yeah,
Come on, he
and
wasn't
people
he
are.
wasn't doing coke. I was around Fuzi quite a bit IRL. I don't think you ever saw him IRL in that run. He wasn't doing drugs. I think he was pure. I think he was high off chat.
Really? You don't think he was on like stimulants?
I don't maybe Adderall, but I never saw any. I never saw that happen. But we know that he was on Adderall before. I miss him, man. I wonder.
He's the best. He's the best to ever stream. Like he's the only guy who got me watching every minute. Remember, I was like, man, this is fucking stupid. And then he slapped the child, and I said, oh my
That
God.
was the best content since then. But I saw one phone call. It's funny that this happened. That Ryan Garcia recently talked to him, and he just said, "Stop being a pussy." Like, hey, stop being because I've been talking to Fuzi like every couple of weeks since he stopped streaming, and I'm like, hey man, we miss you. Like I'm being really sympathetic to him. I'm like, oh, it's good. Like we're praying for you, we're making dua for you, and blah blah blah. And he's like, yeah, I'm not feeling good. Ryan gets on the phone with him, and he's just like, stop being a bitch. And then he started like something. Part of that, the guy that slapped Jack woke up again when he heard that on the phone. He's like, oh, he started to go because
Oh,
he
that was
has that.
before.
No, that was after. That was like 2 weeks ago. That was the first time where I saw a glimpse of like Fuzi back as himself again. Because he does have that like alpha male thing within him. A lot of time it does because sometimes he does like the fruity thing. Sometimes he has like a lot of different personality traits at once. But and I saw that at first. I'm like, why are you going to be mean to Fuzi? But then I thought like maybe that this is probably the right way to go and get somebody out of a funk instead of being sympathetic and like crying about it and praying for you constantly and like you need to get
I,
somebody to bully you to become yourself again.
it's so simple for Fuzi. If he has two people around him full time just to guard him from the electricity going too much, he will be the #1 content creator within like a couple of weeks. But the problem is there's no job like that on earth to babysit an electric grown-up that can manifest views that at that rapid master builder pace. Basically, who's going to do that job? And like, I'll say this is going to sound crazy. If Fousey paid a fat annual salary to one dude to fucking just physically restrain him when it's getting too much, he'd make like $10 million. But no one would do that business plan of like hiring a full-time nanny, you know? But
and it would never work because the bodyguard would never know how much he's supposed to restrain him and how much he's supposed to allow him. It's something that you just need to do yourself. Like you can't, it's lightning in a bottle. You can't capture it the right way and release it the right way. Did you see it before the fight, the Haney Garcia fight? Some people were saying that, oh, Ryan Garcia must have seen the Sneako ZHERKA stream because you were talking last stream about, we were talking about music. And I don't think he saw the stream, but we were talking about music and how something like orchestral music, like Mozart, Beethoven, can uplift the spirit. Before the fight, Haney's listening to rap music and Garcia is listening to classical music. He even had an orchestra come play in the back room.
Yeah, and he talked about his numerology on that podcast.
Did he?
Yeah, he watches a lot. He watches a lot of my stuff, but he's been boxing since a kid, so I get zero credit, right? But I did say, remember when I said sevens have mystical awakenings, spiritual awakenings? They kind of go a little crazy when they're going through it. But eights punch hard, kind of like Jake Paul, or 22s. Fousey, Master Builder, is the most electric energy. If Fousey goes and doesn't stop, he's #1. But that you crash out like that. So if someone can figure out Fousey, you've got $100 million business plan right there. Because have you noticed Fousey's just go or stop? And Sneako, you're the opposite. You've been consistent. I've never seen you take a break.
No, I stay consistent. I have to always be working. That's the difference between streamers like N3on and Fousey, is that they need to be like loud and always like they're pretty much a slave to their chat. I noticed that today with the stream specifically. Like I don't need to be a slave to my chat in order to make good content. I'm better. Like I know how to maintain myself, and it's a performance to some extent. Like when I bring that energy, it's like it's performative. It's not really who I am. When Fousey is in that mode, that's him. When N3on is in that mode, that's who he is, and he's a slave. Like he has to do exactly what the chat is saying. But I don't really need to. I can go in and out, and I know how to turn it on and off.
It is